Hi, I'm Rick Davis. This is the start of this video series. I'm going to be hunting some public land. I did it a lot when I was young, got away from it through my intermediate years in life. Got spoiled hunting private land. Was fortunate enough to kill a lot of pretty nice deer. This year, for some reason, I just got an inkling to go back to hunting some public land, get way back in. So I found me a piece that I want to try. I actually ran a camera up in there a couple of years ago. Never hunted it. Was just kind of curious, and a lot of deer up in there. The problem is access. It's just so far back in there. As you can tell, I'm not Lance Armstrong. So it's a far walk. I've walked it a few times now. It's about 2.2 miles from where I'm at right now to back to where I want to hunt at. So it's not going to be an easy in and out access all the time. I kicked around the idea of getting a motorized bike to take back in there, an e-bike, and just wasn't in the budget, and thank goodness I held off on it, because now my access road where I hunt at in this state forest, there's no bicycles allowed. So it's going to do two things. That's going to make me get in a lot better shape and cut way down on the competition, because I highly doubt that I'll see too many people back in there. But you never know. People are pretty resilient. I may run into a bunch of people, I may not. But today I'm going to head back in there, and I got some cameras here. I've got some cameras back here already. The batteries went dead. I had them back here for turkey season. And I'm going to go back here and move these cameras around. There's a big ridge top back there that the state mows quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure this time of year, it's the middle of August. These deer are probably using that stretch up there to eat in the evenings. So I'm gonna put some cameras up there, and I'll go through some pointers and stuff as far as terrain and stuff, areas I'm going to key in on this year initially, until I get up there and actually get eyes on everything, hunting scenarios, to see how the deer actually move. At this point, it's just a guessing game, just going off of experience. Start out there. I'm sure things will have to be fine-tuned. Bugs are really bad out here. Things will have to be fine-tuned as the season goes along. My plan is to, like I say, it's 2.2 miles up in there. It takes me about an hour and 15, hour and 20. Well, depends on how long I get sidetracked looking at stuff. I'll stop and see some sign and start monkeying around wherever I see that sign at. But it usually takes me about an hour and a half to get up in there. So it's not something I'm going to come in on a Saturday morning, walk up in there and hunt, come out, go back in, your normal scenario. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to end up spending the night up in there quite a bit. I'll come in. I'm a weekend hunter. Everybody works. I work pipeline. Everybody's got a full-time job. Probably come in on Saturday mornings, get up in there, get set up, hunt Saturday evening, find me somewhere up in there away from where I'm going to be hunting at, sleep in there all night, get up, hunt all day Sunday, and then pack my stuff out Sunday evening and to head back to work on Monday. So that's the scenario for now. I'm going to finish getting packed up here. I got my heater, just because today's day and age, you don't know what's going to happen. I've never really was concerned about carrying a firearm, but two things, I'm going so far back in there, you never know what you're going to run into. There's a lot of rattlesnakes and copperheads in here, not to mention a few bears and bobcats, which those don't really bother me at all. But biggest thing is, you are in a rural area. Could be weed patches up in there growing, could be somebody with a meth lab. You don't know what you're growing into. So, but I got my water bottle here. We got a new elderly stock mod pack. Got some cameras packed up on there, cell cams. They're fairly inexpensive cell cams in the grand scheme of things. I got some battery packs and stuff on them. I'm all cool with, if they do get ripped off, it's not going to be the end of the world. Of course, you don't want anything of your own to get stolen, but it's worth it to me to risk it just so I don't have to walk up in there all the time. Have a little flash camera up in there and have to walk up every week, check the cards. So we're going to get these set up there. I'll take some videos and stuff of where I'm going to set them up at, and we'll see what happens. All right, I just climbed the biggest hill up in here. As you can tell, I'm sweating because it's about, probably 500 feet gain in elevation. So not something ideally you want to be doing in the middle of August, but we had at it. What I've noticed here, I wish I could flip this phone, but I can't. I'll just flip it around like this. But you see that logging road down through there? Comes down off that knob right there. But you see this timber here along the edge? All the way down the edge. Not that side. That side there is all wide open timber. That's all. This is all big timber over here. So all this stuff over here that I showed you, that is all, it used to be clear cut, but it's kind of growing up now, but it's still thicker than shit. What I noticed last winter and stuff in here scouting is these deer skirt the edge of this ridge right on this thick stuff. Now they'll come up across this road. What they probably do is they probably, in that thick stuff, that's probably where they bed at down in there. And then at night they come up across this road and go down to into this wide open timber to eat. So be no difference than going into an agricultural field. So it's the same thing, just a little different aspect. But yeah, I noticed right along the edge of this bench. So them bucks, they cruise just over the edge of this little rise right here. They cruise right down that edge. They probably come through there scent checking for does without getting into the open. So, but just thought I'd stop here real quick and catch your breath and run that by you. So just keep that in mind too. Just because we like walking down these roads don't mean these deer like to walk down them. So does will, them big ones won't. No, definitely not in the daytime. Nighttime they will. But last I checked, we can't hunt at nighttime. So onward and upward. All right, here's another spot. This is another good case for getting up here in the wintertime when there's no foliage on. This looks a lot different now than what it did then. You would never even notice it, but we are on the crest of a ridge, which is where I like to hunt. I don't like hunting down in just because the thermals will swirl on you real bad. So keep that in mind. Whenever it's possible, hunt up high on the ridge. Don't ever hunt down low. If you're hunting down low, you're really taking a risk. But anyway, we're on this ridge top. Again, this is that thick stuff. Back to my south. Over here is all big timber. You can see all them big chestnut oaks, and there's white oaks and all kinds of oaks in there. But this comes up. I found this last winter. There's a real sharp little ridge comes up right there, and those deer come up that little ridge. They come up and they cross right here. And they go out. This is a low spot, comes around, bench comes around there, and there's a point that goes out, and there's big thick stuff. Transition from wide open timber to thick stuff out that way. So those deer are coming up out of here again at night, in the evening, going down into this hollow and feeding on these oaks and hickories and beech, whatever else is in there. And then they either come back across or they head out to that other timber. But this is a good transition area because they'll come up across. You catch them in between these two thick areas. So I found there's trees right here in this little meadow. Had some really big rubs on them last winter. So I already set a waypoint with onyx right back there. Found me a couple small trees to catch them coming through there. In a saddle. I ain't much room in there for a regular stand, but saddle. But I don't know if they've been coming through here this summer or not. I'll kind of walk through here. There's probably no set. They're probably coming right through there, but there's probably no set trail just because it's so open. But yeah. You can see where there's an old road that cuts right down through there. They probably start in on that road and then they probably feather off to the right or the left, get down those benches down out of sight. So, but this is a good spot right here to ambush a big one. Come up out of that thick stuff. So, But I'll keep an eye on it, probably put a camera here. I don't know, probably October, somewhere in there. So keep on moving. I was just walking up this road. How'd you like to get a face full of this dude? Right out in the middle of the road. Some big ass spider. That sucker. I don't want to even zoom in, but that's a big old spider. Right in the middle of the road. I'm sure I'll get him in my face on the way back because I forget. So, yeah. I'm a little over halfway there. So, lost about 9 pints of blood from the mosquitoes. But we'll keep going. Alright, so I found this spot about a year or so ago. We're a little bit over a mile back in here now. I found this water hole. And you're like, man, water hole back in the timber like this? This is going to be a magnet for everything. So I put a camera on this thing back in March. Right there it is. And I ain't hardly got any pictures of animals at all. But what I did notice when I got here, there's a camera on that tree. I was like, oh, no big deal. You know, somebody else has been hunting up in there. And that's an expensive camera. That's Reconex. That's $450 camera. It's not even cellular. So, but what I did notice is I started getting pictures of people. And I'm like, what the hell? So I got to watching them as I was getting pictures. What it was, they must be like grad students or something with a university or with a state. And they're, if you can see, there's all kinds of amphibians and shit in this water. And they come up here with waders and scoop around with nets and different things. So they must be doing a study on, I don't even know what kind of frogs and stuff are in here. It might be something that's pretty rare living in here. I have no idea. But they come up here about once a month. And they root around in here. And I get pictures of them, which is kind of cool. But anyway, as far as animals, there's been a doe with a few fawns that she comes right down through here, and they'll come in and get a drink. But that's it. I haven't seen any bucks. I ain't seen no raccoons. I ain't seen nothing. What you figure all these amphibians in there, be a bazillion raccoons in there trying to eat them. But anyway, so I came in. I'm gonna pull that camera out there. I'm gonna move it. But I notice these little flags. Get over there, and it must be some type of study they're doing. Okay, that's this little flag, got leaves in there, so I don't know if they're trying to attract something or just doing something with a decay rate of the leaves or something. I have no idea. But I'm gonna walk over and grab that camera, climb back up that big hill, and get back on that road and keep on rocking. So I walked past something. I just thought I'd stop. I don't know what this was, but see that right there? Something yacked that up, so I don't know. Either I caught something by surprise, or whatever it was wasn't feeling good. I'd say it. Probably a coyote, maybe it wasn't feeling good. It could be a bear, I guess. There's bears up in here now. But I'd say it's some type of canine, so it probably was a coyote. Lots of coyote scat on this road, but freaking still wet. And freaking hornet buzzing around here. So, kind of interesting. So this is something I'm going to key in this year. Last year they come in here. I'm back in the area now where I want to hunt at, but they came through here and did some logging. This used to be really wide open, beautiful, clean timber, and now you've got all that new growth coming in there. So those deer are they're gonna key in on that for food. I'm sure probably just as much now as they will this fall, but I'm just not gonna go tromping down through there right now. It's too hot, and there ain't enough foliage down where you can really see what's going on. So, but I am gonna keep tabs on it. This is the edge of a ridge top right here. This was a really good spot back in here. Just from the sign and stuff I seen back in here when I came back in here earlier this year. A bunch of old rubs and old scrapes and stuff back in here. So when you're hunting big timber like that, whenever they cut that out, don't poo-poo it, and forget about it, because you should be doing the exact opposite. This will be a hotbed for deer, because you got all that new growth and stuff in there, all the fresh sprouts and new trees and young trees growing. Be good browse for them. So, but I'm gonna keep walking out here on this ridge top and see what else we can find out here. But just wanted to stop here and see what this looked like. It looks pretty good. Probably go right out that ridge top, right out that way. Be a good spot to be. So don't overlook clear cuts. If you do, you're not keying in on what you need to be keying in on. All right, so I'm getting close to spot number 2 for a camera. I'm basically just down the ridge from where I put the other camera at, around the willow tree. I was coming down this trail, and there, as you're walking down that hill, you can see where the deer have been working through this grass eating. So you can see this is just like a big summer meadow. So I'm sure the deer are keying in on this, eating. There's all kinds of browse and stuff in here for them. But I was coming down through here, and there's a trail right here. I can't tell if it's a deer trail or a coon trail. Definitely some type of trail. Anyway, so there's a bench that comes along right here, and if you look, this is what we call a low gap. So you got a high ridge there. You got going back uphill up there. So all this area, this bowl down through here is called low gap. And deer will use this way more than they will any ridge tops. So that being said, but up there by that willow tree, I don't know why, but they do like it up there. But if I was hunting, 9 times out of 10, this is where I would pick, would be somewhere down in here like this. You're still on a ridge top, so your thermals are still good, but you're not clear up on top. So deer are lazy by nature, just like people. They'll take a path of least resistance. So instead of having to walk up that hill to cross, they can just come right down here in this low spot, and it's easier on their legs to cross right there. But this is a good area right here, because you got this bench comes along, they come up and cross, they go down in that hollow, and then about 300 yards that way turns into nothing but pines. So it's definitely a transition area right there as far as habitat. So those deer like those hard lines. I've got some spots down in this holler too. I'm probably gonna put a camera. There's a bunch of white oaks and stuff in here, but that hard line from that pine to that hardwood's gonna be a key area. But I'm gonna put a camera right here somewhere. I was thinking maybe like right there, maybe. Point it up this direction, that way it'll catch this hill coming down. But I'm sure those deer, even if this is just a rabbit or a coon trail, those deer are still coming through right here. So probably I'd say that tree right there is probably gonna be my best bet. We'll get one set up there. All right, so I walked this fire road all the way to the end. Both sides of the road now is all predominantly pine trees, and the sign, as far as out in this clearing, is tapered off a lot. Now that last camera I just hung, it's just, see that stump there? It's just up around the corner from there. So we're probably a couple of 100 yards from there. But I had no intentions of putting the camera right here, but from about where I'm standing up to that thick stuff, they have just got this beat down in here. I'm assuming it's probably a doe family group, but being it's summertime, it could be a bastard group of bucks. But they've been out here a lot. You can see how it's all beat down, all this stuff. And there's actually beds out here and everything. So So I'm going to put a camera in here just to, yeah, you can see there's a bed right there. There's another one right up here. But they've just been, you can see all the grass, what's bent over. You look at that stuff, it's not bent over. You look here, it's all bent over. That's from deer being through there. So I wasn't planning on putting a camera right here, but kind of stupid not to. Plus you got another, this is actually a really good spot. Now that I think about it, you got clover and stuff in here, but you got another road that goes up and over, and it goes all the way down to the bottom of the ridge. And there's another big clearing down over that hill. That's a really good spot too. Found a bunch of rubs in there last time I was in here walking last spring. But so this would be, you know, deer come in. Actually, I always thought this would be a good spot for a decoy. I've been up in here a few times scouting, but I've never hunted up here. So you wonder why I have this much knowledge for up here. It's because I've been up here a few times already. It's the first time I really started videoing it. So, but you're still in this low gap setting here. You're in this low swale. So, but I'm probably gonna put a camera right here somewhere. Let me think here. Maybe that tree right there. Maybe you put it here, you're gonna be too much in the sunshine. Plus, it'd be out too obvious for somebody to steal it. So that tree right there would be good, but I think you're gonna have to face it this way. But yeah, I'm thinking that tree right there. We'll get one set up right there, and then I'm actually going to go down in this hollow and put my last camera up, because this is where it transitions from pines into hardwoods. I wasn't planning on having these cameras this close together, but they don't always have to stay right here. We can move them around as the season progresses. So my plan is to start mostly on this road, key in on bachelor groups of bucks, early scraping, stuff like that, just to try to get an inventory of what's in here. Because they should be dropping velvet here in the next couple weeks, so they should still be using this, and then the does will continue to use it all fall. So it's just a good travel corridor. But like I say, I plan on hunting up in this road first part of the season, depending on how it goes, and then taper off into these hollows once things start to open up and I can see what's going on. So, but yeah, we'll get a camera set up there, and then we'll drop down this hollow, and I'll show you the last spot I'm gonna put a camera. All right, so I'm in the last spot I'm gonna put a camera at. That road I've been walking is right up there. So we're in a down on a bench right here. Comes down and it slopes around, and then that transition into this all pines is right there. Transitions into hard pines all the way through there for half a mile probably. It's all pines. I mean, there's a few hardwoods mixed in there, but it's predominantly pines, dark and dreary in there. So, but it's a good area down in here. Right through here is a good spot. But I think I want to be just a little bit lower. There's an ass load of big giant white pines in here. These are not white pines, white oaks in here. These are all white oaks, the old Quercus alba, Latin name. I'm sure at least one of these in here is probably dropping somewhere, so it will be shortly. But I think starting out, we're going to start this camera out right down here. Thinking right into here somewhere. That's where I started at. Yeah, I can be off by 20 yards and not get a picture of anything down in here. Only thing's got me concerned. See that blue mark there? They did some timbering in here last year. I don't know if they're going to do it again this year or not. I hope not. because if they do, it's going to screw things up. But anyway, so I'm thinking right here somewhere. You got this down tree. It's kind of a natural funnel them in and out of that stuff. So yeah, see, I got those white oaks marked in there. That's usually not good. Usually not good at all. Probably go through and do all this work and then have a bunch of lumberjacks come here this fall and screw everything up. But you'll have that, I guess. So, but I'll walk up here and show you these pines. It's kind of a little bench right here. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly what height on this bench that these deer like to run. Being this time of year, there ain't much the terrain or the climate isn't conducive for leaving a lot of sign. So there could be a bunch of deer coming through here. You just can't tell because everything's so dry. Yeah, you can see it just turns into pines. That's all thick pines all the way down through there. So, got a lot of green briars in there. Anytime you got these green briars and the white oaks, that's not a white oak. Where's a white oak at? There's a white oak right over there. White oaks, that's a very, very good combination for good deer habitat. And it might even be better to have it right here, actually. Just because now you got two funnel areas. There's a deer trail right here, actually. I'm walking on. He's right down through there. So maybe I'll put it right down here. This looks really good right here. Yeah, I think I want it down here. I may not get any pictures on this for a while. But when things start clicking, I guarantee I'll start getting pictures. Yeah, this looks good. See, you got that deep gulch right there. So that'll funnel those deer up around this bench right here. Yeah, this looks freaking good. It's just a matter of fine tuning where your camera is. So, yeah. I'm gonna walk around here for a minute, figure out exactly where I want to put it, and I'll let you guys know why and where I put it at. Alright, so this is how it pays to be curious. I was just right up there, so I decided to come down in here just a little farther. The reason I came down here is I seen that open area back in there. And it's really not nothing, it's just a cut over. But what I did find is there's a deer trail right here. Goes right up through there. And then if you walk right here, another deer trail goes right down across them logs and up that bench. So those two trails combined right here. That comes in right there, that comes right there. So you got two trails come to a head right here. So this is where I'm gonna put this camera at. Right here, I'm gonna put it. Just a matter of where though is the question. I'm gonna put it out there where it's a little more open. Where do I put it? That trail comes in right there, on that trail. It converges, but I like to have it out here because I hear white oaks dropping out here. So you can have deer milling around out here, so you got a better chance of getting a picture of them. Let's see here. Where can I put this at? dirt, so we've been using that this summer. Probably just does, but you never know. This is more of a November type deal, late October. Those other ones are more when season opens type deal. So, like to have it on that little tree right back here, but then, yeah, that's where we're putting it. Screw it. Can't have everything. You try to cover everything, but you can't. So we're gonna put it right here. I'll stick it right on that tree right there. Transition cover, we'll put it right on this tree, and it'll still catch both them trails. So, yeah, that's where we're putting it.